Hello everyone, welcome back to the Knighthood. This is part 2 of a complete noob paints War of the Ring miniatures. In part 1 I painted the Shadows players' pieces, which you're looking at now, but in this case they have coats of varnish, which they didn't have previously, and I'm also filming on an actual camera instead of my iPhone, so I think the colors and details are showing a bit better. So after we recap all of these pieces, we will get started with part 2, which is all of the Free People's players' army units. And then we'll end the video with a tier list of some of my favorite things and some room for improvement thoughts that I had after the fact. Let's get started. So up first we have the Free Men of the North. Their faction color is light blue, so that color choice was made for me for every faction. I wanted these to be functional as well as look cool, so I did my best there. My favorite here is the gold trim effects on the weapons, as well as the hair color popping off of that light blue. With the Elite, I really like the metalwork. I gave the whole body a black undercoat and then dry brush silver, and the chainmail and the flat metal both have a different effect, but equally cool to bring out the armor of the Elite unit. And finally, the leader, basically the same model except with the flag. And for all of the factions, I painted the leader horses white and the elite horses brown, and that is again a functional decision to make playing the game easier to see at a glance. Okay, moving on to Rohan. Rohan, these might be my favorite faction of the 5. It comes down to the color scheme, really. I just really like how that dark green and the yellowish gold for the hair just pops. With the regulars here, the chainmail in the front, that armor with the shield, I just think it looks really cool. Then we get to the Elite. I like the silver details on the saddle and the reins and whatnot of the horse. And then otherwise, they're all pretty similar with the faction. The shield's cool with the horse just popping off the green in this case, whereas the regulars have the brown with the silver trim. And finally, the leader gets that addition of the flag at the top on a white horse. And yeah, they turned out really well. Okay, moving on to the Elves. These were probably my least favorite to paint, and that is because of the number of Elven Elite units, which you saw there. But starting with the regular, they're pretty simple. I like this. It's got the woodland feel to it. There is a design on the chest armor that I wish I could have brought out more with a black wash or a couple more black washes to really bring it out. But other than that, I'm happy with it. Here we have the Elite. Again, the armor work is cool. I love the gold helmets along with the blonde hair of the Elves. I think that sets them apart. Not to mention the manes of the horses are actually a little different. And then we get to the leader. I really like the size of the flag. All the flags are different for the leaders. I like the Elves. And with the horse mane for the Elves, I wish I could have done like a blonde mane instead of just all white, but c'est la vie. Okay, moving on to Gondor. Starting with the Gondor regular, I think these are one of my favorite pieces. Yeah, you get the chainmail on the back on the sleeves with the blue bottoms, but the shield is really the star of the show here. The white tree of Gondor on the blue shield with the silver trim. I really enjoy that. Moving on to the Elites, kind of a similar story, except for the armor here was a lot of flat silver, and at first I thought it was just really muddled, but a black wash ended up bringing out the shadows of that and kind of gave the armor a little more detail, and then I was really happy with it. With the leader, the blue stockings on the horse, could have used another coat to get that dark true blue there, but it's nothing I can't live with. So moving on to the Dwarves. Really enjoy the Dwarves because they don't have horses, and I painted these last as a faction, so it took me a while to get here, and I was relieved I didn't have to paint any horses, especially after the Elves. With the regulars, love the belt buckle, but the Elite and the leaders are really the star of the show for the Dwarves. I mean, the chainmail, the gold belt, and the reddish orange beard I got from mixing some colors. I really enjoyed. The flag is nice and big. And with the beards kind of go all the way up to the helmet on the dwarves, elites, and leaders, which I really enjoy. Okay, and an honorable mention, my copy of War of the Ring came with one extra Gondor leader, but was missing a Rohan leader. So I just painted that extra piece as a Rohan piece, and yeah, he's kind of a unique piece about my set that at first at the very, very beginning, I was a little bummed out, and then just turned it into a positive. All right, so let's tier list these pieces. In our S tier, we have the whole clan of Rohan, including our honorable mention. I just really like that color scheme, and you know, the little unique guy is just something about my set that's my own. So filling out the S tier, we have the Gondor regular, and it's really just that shield effect in the true blue. It just pops. And then the dwarves, for the reasons I mentioned, you know, the beard going up to the helmet, it's got that reddish tint to it. And the chainmail, it all just comes together really well. In our A tier, we have the elite and leaders of the Men of the North. Yeah, I think they just could have fleshed out a little better. I mean, I really like them, but they just didn't make it to S tier because I like the ones in S tier more. It really is what it comes down to. Similar story for the elves. I wish I could improve the silver effect on the arrow bag, you know, the quiver that hangs off the horse. That silver is a little muddled because it was a dry brush. It didn't really grab all the details as best as I liked. And then the horse's mane on the leader horses. I wish I could have improved. And then the dwarf regular and the Gondor elites and leaders for similar reasons. They just don't have that detailing that the pieces in S tier of their same faction do. And then at the bottom tier, we have the regular Men of the North and the regular Elven unit. And they're both really for their chest armor not being black washed thoroughly to bring out the details of their chest armor. But other than that, I really enjoy it. I think they fit well with the factions. And that is it. That is the Free People's Players units. Stay tuned for part 3, which I will cover the characters, both the 3 minions of the Shadow Player and the Fellowship. And they're actually painted by my fiance. She helped me out because I was taking a super long time painting these pieces. So, if you're interested in that, like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back in part 3, and thanks for watching.